Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Super Gaming Minute, the channel dedicated to all things Nintendo and gaming. Well, Nintendo recently hosted their Animal Crossing Direct, and I must say, if you're a fan of Animal Crossing, Nintendo sure did deliver and gave us one hell of a Direct. The 2.0 expansion looks absolutely killer, as well as the paid DLC. As mentioned, if you are a fan of Animal Crossing, they definitely showcase something for everyone. But with that Direct, they also dropped a huge, expensive bombshell. Yep, Nintendo quietly slid in the price of their Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, and a lot of Nintendo fans are not feeling the love. I mean, just take a look at the like to dislike ratio of the video they released. Fans definitely feel as though Nintendo is taking advantage of them. But are they really? Let's talk about this new expansion pack and go over the current value of possible additions later in the future to see if Nintendo actually is ripping off their fanbase or not. But before we get into all of that, do not forget to give this video a like if you guys like talking all things Nintendo and gaming. Share this video with a friend who is interested in this topic, and of course, the most important thing you guys can do is subscribe to Super Gaming Minute if you like talking all things Nintendo and gaming. We release 1 to 2 new videos per week, and the only way to stay up to date with each video would be to subscribe and to ring the notification bell. With that said, let's get right into the video. So, as mentioned, we finally got the information that we were hoping for. Nintendo stealthily gave us the pricing that we were wondering about since their last Direct at the end of September. Now, if you watch my channel or any other channel that covers this type of content, rumors have been floating around for months about a possible tier system when it comes to Nintendo Switch Online. We were ready for it because we knew it was coming, but what we got? We did not see coming. Now, as we all know, the basic package for Nintendo Switch Online is $20 per year for a single membership, or $35 per year for a family membership. Considering the online experience that we get with NSO, this is a pretty fair number. Even though, just like the majority of you guys, I also believe that even at that price, Nintendo needs to offer us a little more than just NES and Super NES games. Classic games aside, NSO needs an overhaul. I'm sure we can all agree that voice chat and actually being able to invite your friends to games without using a stupid phone app would be great. Again, those little nuances aside, $20 per year is a fair price. Now, Nintendo just released the info for their expansion pack, which releases on the 25th of this month, adding 2 additional systems which include Nintendo 64 as well as Sega Genesis, which is really cool in my opinion. On top of these new systems, Nintendo will also be giving expansion pass members access to the brand new paid Animal Crossing DLC, which is a $25 value. The price for this expansion pack? Well, it's no secret anymore. Nintendo will be trying to sell you on the service for $50 per year for a single membership, or $80 for a family membership. And for what? A few retro games and a DLC pack? I think we need to look a little closer at the full package here. What are we getting? What is Nintendo doing? Is this all we're getting? Or are we possibly going to be getting more from the service in the future? In order to answer these questions, I think we first need to look closely at what we're getting. Nintendo 64 games and Sega Genesis games. Now, Sega being Sega is not a Nintendo brand. I know what you're thinking. Thank you so much, Captain Obvious. Listen! Now, getting these licenses from Sega probably isn't cheap, and I'm sure Nintendo has to pay a pretty penny to bring these games full-time on the Switch for as long as Nintendo Switch Online is a thing. Now, let's take a look at Nintendo 64. Now, this one should be fairly inexpensive. This is a Nintendo system with Nintendo IPs, except for anyone who grew up with the N64 knows, it wasn't just Nintendo's IPs that made the system great. No, Nintendo shared that spotlight with Rare, which is now a Microsoft-owned company. And even with as good a relationship that the two gaming giants have, Microsoft isn't going to give their IPs away for free. Do you see where I'm going with this? Now, we can all bitch and moan about Nintendo ripping us off until the cows come home. And trust me, I do feel the same way that you guys do. But I want to try and give Nintendo the benefit of the doubt here. I mean, if Nintendo really wanted to rip us off, why didn't they charge us more than $20 per month from the beginning? I mean, think about it. Microsoft and Sony charge a premium for their online services, and granted, their services are worth a lot more than Nintendo's. But in all honesty, Nintendo could have charged $30 per year out of the gate when they first announced that they would charge for their online system, and I'm sure no one would have batted an eye. But they didn't. They valued their product based on what they were offering the consumer. Although, you know what? I'm sure if Nintendo did charge $30 per month from the start and then raise the 30 to 50 with the expansion, I bet people wouldn't be so upset. I mean, missed opportunity. But that's not all we're getting. Nintendo has also thrown in the Animal Crossing DLC into the expansion pack for a $25 value seemingly for free, and I use that word lightly. So with all these products taken into consideration, how much are we paying on a yearly basis for each product? Well, let's break it down. The cost of the expansion pack is $30. If we divide that by 3, we get $10. obviously, which works out to be about 83 cents per product. Okay, seems reasonable, but wait, how much are we paying for NES and SNES titles through Nintendo Switch Online? Well, $20 per month divided by 2 is 10. Damn, I'm good at math. And $10 divided by 12 again would be, damn, 83 cents per month. Huh. Seems like not such a bad deal after all. Okay, so that being said, what about the DLC? After a couple years of paying for the service, Nintendo will get their money back and then some on that DLC. And I'm sure that most Animal Crossing fans would just opt into paying the additional $25 for the DLC. But if Nintendo is willing to include DLC in this package, could they possibly be thinking of adding more DLC to the service? Maybe older DLC like Splatoon 2 or possibly even Splatoon 3 once it's released on the Switch. Or how about Breath of the Wild? Or possibly even DLC for the upcoming Breath of the Wild 2. If Nintendo decides to keep adding new packages of DLC to this service for the additional cost of $30 for the expansion pass, this could end up being worth the price to the majority of gamers. The only problem is, we don't know if Nintendo will in fact be doing so. We're completely left in the dark with this. Now here's where I stand. Here's why I can't quite justify the price of this thing. Now don't get me wrong, I'm extremely happy to see Nintendo adding content to their online system. N64 is my favorite console of all time, and having these games on the Switch is awesome. But you know what would help justify this price increase for me? I mentioned at the beginning of the video, but things like party chat without the use of apps, being able to search for friends without a clunky friend code, how about sending a message to your friends? These are the things that will help make NSO a better value. These things are what we need first and foremost before Nintendo should ever start thinking of raising the price of NSO. Fix the basics and then add the extra content. And with all that said, am I still going to purchase the expansion pack? Well, yes. Now, as I mentioned, Nintendo definitely needs to add more to the basic online functionality, but they've always needed to do this. I don't see them doing it anytime soon. As for the price increase itself for the expansion pack, well, I do see value in it. I'm not overly concerned about the additional $30. I can understand the price increase, although I can completely understand if you don't. And if you aren't going to purchase the expansion pack, well, I completely understand that too. Now, recently on the channel, I put up a poll asking your guys' opinion on the pricing of Nintendo's expansion pack and whether or not you guys feel Nintendo is gouging its fans or not. And the results were, well, pretty one-sided, with 100% of you guys saying that Nintendo is gouging their fans. Ouch. Honestly though, I'm not really surprised. Guys, as a side note, you all know that this is a pretty new channel. I've been doing this for just over a year now, and I just got access to the community tab, which means two things. One, the channel is growing, so thank you guys so much for that. And two, I can now speak with you guys and ask questions and converse with you whenever I see fit. So I plan on doing these polls on a daily basis, or at least every other day. Alright guys, and that's it. How do you feel about the pricing of Nintendo Switch Online? Has your opinion changed since watching the video? Comment down below, let's start a conversation. Don't forget to give this video a like, you guys, if you like this sort of content. But the most important thing you guys can do to help the channel grow would be to subscribe to Super Gaming Minute if you like talking all things Nintendo and gaming. We release 1 to 2 new videos per week, and the only way to stay up to date with each and every video we release would be to subscribe and to ring the notification bell. And with that said, I thank you guys again for making it all the way to the end of this video. As you know, I appreciate each and every one of you, and as always, keep on gaming.